The Legend of Ochi was written and directed by Saxon, who, if my research is correct, is making his feature film debut with this one. Yeah, this guy is mainly known for creating music videos and short films up to this point. But we have the newest A24 feature to hit theaters, and this one is a fantasy adventure-like movie. Kind of out of the norm considering this studio's track record. We follow a young girl who learns to never go outside after dark because of reclusive forest creatures known as the Ochi. But when a baby Ochi is left behind by its pack, she embarks on the adventure of a lifetime to reunite it with its family. And yes, if this sounds pretty eerily similar to E.T., one of the greatest movies of all time, that's because it basically is following the E.T. blueprint. The only key difference in this being Willem Dafoe playing the girl's father, and this guy is just completely, tunnel vision. He wants to hunt these Ochi down. And the reason being is because he believes that the Ochi separated him from his wife, and in turn killed his wife. Pretty justifiable actions. But no, I'm just going to say this much. Right off the bat, this movie's been getting a lot of critical acclaim lately. I don't know if I'm going to sit here and put this at the top of my list once the year's end comes around. But I'll say this much. On a technical level, The Legend of Ochi is an achievement. Because Saxon, in his directorial debut in the feature film world, was only given a $10 million budget to work with. And he's got a great crew working with him. Evan Prozovsky is his DP, and this movie just looks gorgeous. The shot composition, shooting on location here. This is absolutely something you should be seeing on the big screen if you haven't already. Especially when you couple that with David Longstreth's score. Because it knows when to be suspenseful, it knows when to be curious, and it also knows when to tug at your heartstrings. Which this movie will do from time to time, especially as it goes with the connection that this young girl has with the cute little Ochi. And I know this little guy is bound to get some comparisons to Grogu just based on his appearance. But yes, he is very cute. And how this little girl, Yuri, communicates with him is very cute. That's Helena Zengel playing Yuri, and I don't know if I've ever seen her before. Where did this girl come from? Because she was marvelous. Now I just want to see her in everything now. I hope she goes on to have an illustrious career following this. It was a great introductory performance for her into the public eye. And not to mention, she's working with a legend like Willem Dafoe. And yes, I did use the word legend to describe this man. Even though he is something of a scientist himself, I think he has reached legend status by this point in his career. Because I don't know what it is about Willem Dafoe these days, man, but the projects that he's picked, especially over the past 5 years or something like that, there have been a lot of captivating choices. A lot of them pretty artsy movies, a lot like this one is. And he really does hit all the right notes. He shares great chemistry with his daughter, Helena Zengel. He shares great chemistry with Emily Watson's character. And I'm not going to dig too deep into spoilers on who this woman turns out to be. But when you're first introduced to her, it's a very troubled, isolated character. Her arm's been cut off and replaced by a wooden hand. It's a dark feeling when you're first introduced to her, because you know that she's been through the ringer and back. You also have Finn Wolfhard in this, Mike from Stranger Things, of course. And look, I've had my fair share to say about this kid in the past. I'm not the biggest fan of Mike as a character on Stranger Things. I think he's a total dweeb. But I think he was solid enough in this movie. He certainly holds his own. It's not a huge part that he has, but it's a really interesting connection that he shares with Helena Zengel's character. And overall, yes, this story does draw a lot of parallels to E.T. That is inescapable. Even just right down to the concept. I'm sure when people saw these trailers, they were like, oh, this is A24's answer to E.T. Why should we watch this? You watch it for the technical brilliance and for some really impressive leading performances. That's why you watch it. And honestly, for a debuting director, this is a pretty darn impressive movie, guys. Especially also when you couple in the fact that you're leading Ochi, the baby Ochi that's on this journey. Shout out to my boy Jacob Hubbard for this bit of information. But I guess that this lead baby Ochi was a puppet, which kind of leads into another kind of issue that I have. You can certainly tell when this movie uses CGI and when it doesn't. Now, I understand this might not be a fair criticism, especially considering it only had $10 million to work with. But if you have one puppet baby Ochi, you might as well go all out and just have all practicals. Because when you put it all in the same movie together, it can be really distracting. Either go all CGI, go all puppets, don't do half and half. But aside from that and the comparisons to E.T., one of the greatest movies of all time, which again are glaring, it's a pretty fun little watch. My girlfriend and I definitely enjoyed our time at the theater tonight. This is something we probably wouldn't mind watching again at some point in the near future. I'm going to give The Legend of Ochi a solid B. For one of A24's infant forays into the fantasy world, this is a pretty solid effort. But let me know what you thought of The Legend of Ochi down in the comments section below. What is your favorite fantasy adventure film that you've ever seen? Again, I know, super broad topic, and I'm expecting all the hot takes in the world all down there. And I read every single comment. I love interacting with you guys. It makes me feel so alive to talk about movies and all things entertainment with you. So do me a favor, hit that subscribe button if you want to join this community today. Hit that thumbs up as well. Lots of fun topics as we get into the month of May. Thunderbolts is opening up this weekend. I'm very excited to check that out, especially if the early press screenings are anything to go off of in the early reviews. Yeah, this is going to be something special. But thank you all so very much again. Y'all are the best. And with all that being said, Back Talk, commence.